Good morning, students. Last class we have discussed about the term demand and its types. And today we will continue and we are going to discuss the first term as I have mentioned in the board, determinants of demand. So first of all we will study what are called determinants of demand. Determinants of demand generally these are the factors that influences of an individual in order to purchase one particular commodity. What factors influence me to purchase one type of commodity? Those factors generally we call determinants of demand. Determinants demand for any particular commodity is influenced by large number of or large variety of factors. For example, if I want to purchase one commodity for example a pen. I want to purchase a pen and what influenced me to purchase this pen? I can say that the color of the pen, that is why I purchased the pen, one of the reasons. The other reason that the price of the pen, or in another way I can say that the income level of the individual. What is my income level, or whether I am able to bear the price of this product. So these are the factors one which influence an individual to purchase one commodity. So those influential factors generally we termed as determinants of demand. So in this chapter we will discuss about various types of determinants. First of all, we will study the most important determinant of demand, that is price of the commodity. So the first determinant of demand is price of the commodity. So you can note it down, price of the commodity. Price of the commodity. How does price of the commodity affect the demand of any commodity? Normally, we will see there is an inverse relationship between the price for the commodity and the demand. That means, what do you mean by inverse relation? It's a simple term that generally when price of the commodity increases, the demand of that commodity decreases. When price of the commodity decreases or diminishes, the demand of that commodity will increase. So this is where that quantity demand of the commodity and the price is related each other. Therefore, I can say that the relationship is inverse relation or inversely relation. It means that when price of the commodity increases, quantity demanded of the commodity decreases and vice versa. So that relationship is known as price demand. That relationship is known as price demand. So price demand, if we want to write this price demand in an equational form, we can write that D of n is equal to function of price. I have written here D of n. What is n here? N is the quantity. Okay, whatever the product that we want to purchase, that is n. So D of n means demand of n commodity is equal to what? It is a function of price. P for price and F for function. So this is the symbolical expression of price demand. So one of the important determinants of affecting the demand is price of the commodity. And what type of relation do we have it there? That is inverse relation. What is inverse relation? When price of the commodity increases, quantity demanded of the commodity decreases and vice versa. That relation is inverse relation. Is that clear? Now we move to the second determinants. Second determinants we have income of the consumer. What is, you can just note it down, income of the consumer. Income of the consumer. Income of the consumer. In economics, generally we use the term or the letter Y for income. So in bracket you can write Y, income of the, that denotes income of the consumer. What type of relationship you will see in income of the consumer? Income of the consumer means what? The purchasing power parity of the consumer according to his or her income. What does it gives? Generally, there is a direct relationship you can see there in the income of the consumer. It means that when income of the consumer increases, okay, income of the consumer increases, quantity demanded of that commodity must be increased. Okay, you are students and you are the teenagers. Okay, what is the common behavior of you people like, or it is a common behavior of everybody that somebody's income increases, we generally increase the quantity demanded, or we can purchase more and more quantity. That is what income of the consumer. Or how does income affect the quantity demanded of the commodity? We are clear with that. What is the relation? It's a direct relationship. What is directly? How it is directly related? It is directly related. That means when price of the commodity increases, we have studied that quantity demanded is diminishes. But according to the income, if your income increases, quantity demanded of commodity also increases. This is what the relation there, direct relation. So according to this means, in order to explain the relationship between income and demand of various goods, okay, under this income of the consumption, we could see three types of commodities there. What are the three types of commodities? On the basis of that three types of commodities, we can study what type of relation that we have in relation with the income of the consumer, okay, towards its quantity demanded. So these three types of commodities are: number one is normal goods, and two is inferior goods, and third one is inexpensive goods. You can write that there are three types of goods that comes under income of the consumer. That is normal goods, and second one is inferior goods, I am writing in short, inferior goods, and third one is inexpensive goods. So these are the three categories, okay, or three different types of goods that come under income of the consumer. First one is normal goods, and second inferior goods, and third one inexpensive goods. Now let us discuss each one of these three types of commodities. The first one is normal goods. What do you mean by normal goods, and what type of relation you see there in case of the demand of that commodity? What is normal goods? Normal goods are those goods the demand for which increases when the income of the consumer increases. What is normal goods? When a consumer's income increases, the demand for that commodity also increases. In general cases, whatever the commodity that we in a day-to-day life, in daily life, we are purchasing various kinds of commodities, like for example car or refrigerators or food items and so on. So the ability to purchase those commodities completely affect based on the income. So in the normal goods, we can see a direct relationship. When income increases, purchasing power also increases. When income decreases, purchasing power also decreases. This is what is in the case of normal goods. It's directly related. And when we move to the second type, that is inferior goods. What is inferior goods? Inferior goods are those goods which demanded less when there is a change in income. That means, suppose the income of a consumer increases, okay, the quantity demanded of that commodity diminishes. There you may have doubt now. What type of relation we can see here? It is inversely related. Inversely related means what? There is no direct relation between this goods and its price, or its income and its demand. So here I said, once income increases, if my money increases, okay, my income level increases, I can also purchase less of that commodity. Then what does it show? What does it show? Generally, the purchasing power parity shows, okay, or if I purchase luxurious goods always, that means my income level is little bit high, right? So what does it means that inversely related, or what relation we can see here? That is what I say, once our income increases, the quantity demanded of that commodity decreases, not increase. Then in what cases? There we translate, or we can easily, the consumer can easily transfer his inferior goods to the superior goods. Inferior to superior. For example, wheat and rice. Wheat is considered as an inferior goods of a consumer, and rice is superior goods, which means rice is superior to wheat. So when my income increases, I normally change my consumption pattern from wheat to rice. This is what is known as inferior goods. So therefore, in that cases, we will see what type of relation? Inverse relation. Is that clear? Okay. Then third one, we come to inexpensive goods. What is inexpensive goods? Inexpensive goods are those goods, okay, which the demand of increases along with the income increases, but after a particular point of time, the quantity demanded will remain same. This is in the case of inexpensive goods. Now what is inexpensive goods? The goods like salt, okay, matchboxes, okay, candles, right, sugar. Okay, this type of commodity we never purchase by bulk amount or more. Suppose my income daily increases, okay, 10,000 daily I have. So this 10,000 rupees is not compulsory to utilize for purchasing those inexpensive goods like sugar. Okay, I need 1 kilo of sugar for a month for consumption. Does not mean that I need to purchase 1 kilo of sugar because my income level is high. Doesn't matter. No one will purchase also. So that is what inexpensive goods. In the cases of matchbox, okay, we will, or in the case of salt, we never purchase. We are in need a particular quantity. Doesn't matter that my income level is too high. That means 2 kilos of salt I need to purchase. No. So that is what inexpensive. So all these three types of commodity, what comes under income, we have seen a relation to. What are the relation? The first, in normal goods, there is a direct relationship, and inferior goods, there is a inverse relations, and inexpensive after a particular limit. It can be decided by the consumer. So in order to show this relationship between income and demand in all these three types of goods, we can explain, we can show that relationship with the help of a beautiful diagram. Okay, in the first year we have not studied that much number of diagram, but second year we need to study a lot of diagrams. And if somebody asks what is more important, whether diagram or theory, so I cannot say, I am unable to say that, because diagrams are equally important to the theory. So the first diagram that I am going to draw, which shows the relationship between demand and income in case of these normal goods, inferior goods and inexpensive goods. So I am just drawing the diagram here, so you can just notice. So when we draw a diagram, we should draw two axes. So this is the beginning starting point. So I have written 0. Okay, O 0, and here x axis and it is y axis. So O x axis and O y axis. In that cases, O x axis and O y axis. The second step we need to mention what does the O x axis denote. What does it show? So O x axis denotes quantity. Quantity, I am writing in short. Quantity of that commodity. Quantity demanded. Quantity demanded. Okay. Whereas OY axis, I can write income because we are studying in relation with the income. So income, I am writing income here. Income, which means Y. Okay, income. So OY axis shows income and OX axis shows quantity. Now quantity, the relationship in case of normal goods. What type of relation I have told? Yeah, inverse relation. Okay, so in normal goods, so there is a direct relation, right? Direct relation, don't forget. So when that means the income increases, quantity demanded also increases. So that I am drawing the demand curve of that normal goods. So, okay, there is a direct increase in demand curve towards the right. It means that suppose the income is this level. This is the one level of income. For example, if I have written 100 rupees the income level, by that income you can purchase, okay, 5 quantities of commodity. This is one case. And when income increases, okay, once income increases from 100 to, okay, 110 or 150, quantity demanded also increases. So it is 6 and it is 150. Just for example. Okay, that. And inferior goods, what is inferior goods, sir? Inferior goods are those goods, the demand for that goods falls when income increases. Okay, so in that cases we can draw the diagram like this. Inferior goods. This is of normal goods. This is of inferior goods. So inferior goods, a backward sloping curve. Okay, which means when income increases, in the initial stages you will see that income increases and quantity demand also increases. Up to this. After that, what is happening? After that, when your income increases, does not matter that quantity demanded increases, which means that will diminishes. We will see that if I draw a vertical lines from here to here, you can say quantity demanded decreases from this. Okay, this is the point of, okay, suppose this is 5.5, then and this will be 4.5. So this difference you can notice. Inferior goods. And another thing I have told you, inexpensive goods. Inexpensive after a particular level. So it increases. Okay, it increases and reaches up to here. So after this particular level, the quantity demanded remain constant. So if we draw a particular straight line towards x-axis, you can see that up to 80 level it increases, and thereafter whatever the income level, see income level based on this is the income level. Okay, suppose 200 rupees, and if income level increases 250, then also the quantity demand remains same. Is that clear? Okay, so this is the relation between income and demand, or in the case of these three types of goods, like normal goods, inferior goods and inexpensive goods. Now we move to the third determinants. We have discussed price of the commodity, income of the consumer, and third one you can note it down. The third determinants is consumers' taste and preferences. consumers taste and preferences. I am writing short. Consumers taste and preferences. What is consumers taste and preferences, or how does consumers taste and preferences affect the quantity demand of the commodity? It is based on your taste and preferences. What I want to purchase, okay, it is my taste, or if I purchase one particular commodity as per my taste and preference, then definitely I could say that whatever the price I am ready to pay it, because my taste is to get the most modern commodity or the equipments. For that I am ready to bear the prices. So generally we can say that according to the taste, as per the taste means there is a common tendency among the people or among us that okay, we are always in search of getting good most modern products, not outdated one. Okay, once the expiry is over, we are not ready to purchase. Okay, from old fashion to the new fashion. That is the behavior of a common man. So we always search. Okay, from where shall I get new types of products? So therefore, we can say our demand also changes. So along with my taste and preference, my taste is what, in order to get the new updated one, updated product. Okay, for that the demand of such old or outdated products may decrease. Does not matter me, because my taste is that. That is the point. Is that clear? Okay. Then we move to the fourth determinants. It is that prices of related goods. You can write prices of related goods. Prices of related goods. What is prices of related goods? Okay, keep in mind that related goods can be classified into two categories. Number one is substitute goods and second one is complementary goods. Related goods are two types of goods. Number one is substitute goods. You can write substitute goods. And number two is complementary goods. What is complementary? Complementary goods. How does this substitute goods and complementary goods affect the quantity demanded of a commodity? Now, what are called substitute goods? Substitution. We make a substitution. Okay. Substitution means what? Okay. Substitute good. Listen. Substitute goods are those goods which satisfy the same type of need. The same type of need by the use of another commodity. The consumer is ready to sacrifice one commodity there, and he is ready to accept another commodity in place of that commodity what he gave up. Why? Because in that cases consumer is getting the same satisfaction during the time of consumption. For example, if we take tea and coffee. Tea and coffee are substitute goods. So tea and coffee substitute means both the goods give same satisfaction to the consumer. So in place of tea, the consumer can easily use coffee. And when does he or she uses this? Because suppose let me clear it. I think you have noted it. Okay. So I am writing substitute goods, tea and coffee, tea and coffee, tea and coffee. Tea and coffee are substitute goods. Now the price of, suppose the price of tea increases. when the price of tea increases, how does that affect its demand? It's a very common. When price of tea increases, we have studied when price of one commodity increases, demand of that commodity will decrease. So in that cases we can say when price of tea increases, demand of tea diminishes. Demand of tea diminishes when price of tea increases. Whereas consumer is ready to use its substitutes. It means tea substitutes. Tea substitute is coffee. So when there is an increase in price of tea, consumer may change the habits of consuming coffee in place of tea because both are substitute goods. Therefore, we can say the demand of coffee increases. Is that clear? When price of tea increases, demand of coffee increases, whereas in the same way, demand of tea decreases. So, substitute goods, the demand is affected when the price changes of its substitutes in two ways. One is that the tea itself, the demand of tea itself diminishes because price increased. And the second time, when price increase of tea, demand of coffee increases. So this is the relation here. Understand? Okay. Now we see the another type. So one is substitute. So similarly, you can see many types of substitute goods. Okay. Then we will see complementary goods. You can write complementary goods. Complementary goods. Complementary goods. What are known as complementary goods? What are complementary goods? Complementary goods are goods which are complementary to one another. Complementary to one another, that means they can be used together for the satisfaction. In order to satisfy our wants, both the commodities are to be utilized together. Then only this can be termed as complementary goods. For example, car and petrol. Car and petrol, in order to function or in order to get satisfaction by the use of car, we is compelled to use petrol. So car and petrol have a proper relation there. These are considered complementary to each other. Okay, pen and ink. I cannot use this pen if I don't have ink, because ink and pen complementary goods used together. This way many commodities are used together. Understand? So in that cases, that is considered as complementary goods. So then how does complementary goods demand affect when its price increase? Okay, listen, car and petrol. Car and petrol. When the price of, suppose the price of the price of petrol increases. You just imagine the price of petrol increases. What will happen? What will happen when the price of petrol increases? Demand of petrol decrease. Demand of petrol decrease. Then what about the car? The demand of the car also diminishes. Is that clear? Understand? Okay, let me explain again. For instance, an increase or decrease in the price, either increase or decrease in the price of petrol can cause decrease not only the car but the petrol also, both the things. So this way it is related. So these are complementary goods and it's a relation. Clear? Okay. Now we move to the next determinants, that is consumers' expectation. You can note it down. Consumers' expectations. Consumers expectations. What about consumers expectations? What does a consumer expect? Okay, regarding the price of a commodity. If suppose in the market nowadays we know that the lockdown period is going on, so it is consumers behavior that he or she has to get the commodity from the market by any price. Sometimes even if the price is too high, we are compelled to get that commodity. So what is my expectation? Suppose I have got a message that, or today in the news I heard that tomorrow onwards a complete lockdown. So at any cost, I need to purchase all the necessities by today itself. Okay, by high prices. Because when there is demand increases, generally that leads to increase in price. Or else, if I come to know that the price of those commodities are going to increase in future. If you are going to purchase tomorrow, the price may increases. By that situation also, I am ready to purchase, or I must purchase some of the commodities today itself. So otherwise what will happen? The price increase in future. So if price increase in future affect the demand of me, okay, my demand decreases. This way consumers expectations determines the demand of one commodity. Is that clear? Another point is that consumers credit facility. consumers consumers credit facility. Credit facilities. What are known as consumers credit? What is credit facility? Credit. What is credit? Generally, okay. Suppose if you don't have no income, okay, we have to consume something. We will consume also. Doesn't matter. But how can we increase the consumption nature? Consumption pattern can increase only when you have more income. If you credit some money, when you approach a bank, okay, a financial institution to get a loan, to credit a loan, then your income level is more. So when a consumer gets more credit facility from many ways, it's not only financial institutions. Okay, you can your friend is ready to help you. If you get more money as a credit from your friend, that is one method that you can increase your income level. Therefore, there are many methods. Okay, non-financial institutions, financial institutions, okay, other post office, other savings, okay, that areas all help us to give some credits. So this credit help us to increase the demand of the commodity. So the more credit facilities, the more demand. The less credit facility, the less demand, because that is the level of income. That is the purchasing power parity of the consumer. Okay. Then we go to the next determinants. That is size and composition of population. Okay, we can write size of population. Size of population. Size of population. How does size of population affect the demand of commodity? At present, we have 130 crores people in India. You see that a huge population required more commodity for their daily life. If we divide or if we categorize the population into various sectors, we can see that, okay, male and female, or we can categorize like children, okay, or productive people, okay, then senior people, super seniors, okay, teenagers. So all this category, once we discuss, we can see that the consumption pattern is vary from person to person. What I consume is not equal to what you consume. Okay, because our consumption pattern is different way. So in such a way, if we say that the composition of population refers in various fields. So such a way, if we think that the young generation can consume more, suppose for teenagers like you people may highly demand, okay, jeans or t-shirts or some fashionable goods. So high demand for that category. Whereas during summer season, people demand for AC and all. So demand vary according to the sizes of the population. The more people, the more demand. The less people, the less demand. So this way, the demand can be affected. Okay. Then we go to the another point, that is distribution of income. Distribution of income. You can write distribution of income. In what way income is distributed among us? Okay, it is very clear that income is not distributed equally among us. Why? The reason we know, many are employed, many are unemployed. Okay, many are working in the government fields, many are working in private sectors, many have their own institutions, their own particular production field, factories, plants, etc. So their income is not same, or the income which is distributed among us is not equal. Therefore, we can say the people, those who have more income, they have more demand. The people, those who have very less income with them, they have less demand. Those who survive not just to get the necessities for their daily life, okay, they may demand a few quantities because their income level is not as high as rich people. Okay, we could see that. So that differences make the demand. And then we will see the last point is government policy. Government policy. Government policy. How does government policies affect the quantity demanded of a commodity? Government policies affect. Sometimes government has an important role. Okay, not every time government has an important role to control the demand of the people. How, if government is ready to apply, okay, for example, we are giving GST. These days GST is there. If GST is more, or the tax what we supposed to give is more, the purchasing power or the demand of that commodity will be less. Because more income, more GST may not be, we are not ready to bear it that. So government policies are in various ways. Okay, government can introduce or impose different types of duties, okay, taxes, okay, GSTs, etc. And those different ranges may affect the demand of the commodity. So we have studied determinants of demand. There are around 9 determinants, I think so, we have completed. So all these are called determinants of demand. Now we move to the next small topic, that is demand function. You can just write demand function. Demand function. Demand function. What is demand function? Demand function states the relationship between demand and its determinants. Okay, what is demand function? Demand function refers to the relationship, the functional relationship between demand and its determinants. There are 9-10 determinants we have discussed. So demand function we can write symbolically. We can write a symbolical expression of the demand function. They are d of n is equal to function of, in bracket you can write that, okay, p of n comma p1, okay, comma y comma t comma e comma g, etc., and close the bracket. This is the symbolical expression of demand function. What is demand function? Functional relationship between demand and its determinants. These are determinants. What are these determinants? We have studied all the determinants. Pn means price of n, where you can write under that, where Pn means price of n commodity. Okay, P1, it is P1 is written, P1, P2, P3 and P4, which means price vary. So various prices, these prices. Okay, prices. Then Y for income. Y for income. We can write a income. T for taste and preferences. Taste and preferences. E for expectation regarding the price. G for government policies. So these are okay, we use different letters to show the various determinant. So we have completed the demand function in relation with the determinants. So we have written symbolically it is this. So demand function is equal to function of these things: prices, okay, various price of n commodity, income, taste, expectations, government policies, etc. So today we have discussed determinants of demand, what are the determinants of demand, and what are called determinants of demand, then demand functions. And also under income of the consumer we have discussed three different commodities, okay, normal goods, inferior goods, inexpensive goods, three definitions. Then we have also discussed about substitute goods and complementary goods. How does those goods are related the demand of the commodity. So we will be continuing the next classes by tomorrow. Okay, bye.